Hi guys, my name is Soda and today we're starting a new mini-series on this channel. Because I moved around quite a lot already in my life, I thought I'm gonna share my experiences with you and I hope I can help someone. In this first video of the series, we're gonna look at renting a place. I just want to say this in the beginning because I moved I think 3 years ago, or almost 4 years ago now, to London, so the Brexit rules didn't apply to me. On top of that, I'm a European citizen, so I didn't have to apply for any visas. I could basically work straight away. I didn't have to apply to lots of things. If you don't live within the EU or you don't have, let's say, a second British citizenship, you will have to do your own research regarding visas and stuff because all cases are so unique as well, so I don't think there's like a one-fits-all rule and I can't really help you with that. But let's start with renting a place. London is number 19 of the world's most expensive cities to live in. The number might be lower than you expected, but if you put it in context of the world, it's still quite high. So just so you know that before going to London, you should save up a lot of money and you should come with expectations that the city is so expensive. The renting as well is very expensive. So the cheapest rooms you can get, and I mean single bedrooms, sometimes they are double as well, but they're usually tiny, are between 400 to 500 pounds, which is already a lot. Where I'm from Hamburg, Germany, for 500 pounds you could get a huge room in a really nice, beautiful flat. But in London that's not the case. It will be probably a smaller room in a house share. Then you could get a room between 600 to 800 pounds and this will be a good sized room. But I know a lot of you watching this are probably students or people who are on a budget or just want to travel work related to London for a year or something. So yeah, just bear that in mind that the prices are high, but at the same time you can't expect too much from the rooms. Most of the houses in London are at least 100 years old, so the heating, the piping, all that kind of stuff won't be that great, and maybe not as great in your city where you pay much less for a room and are at the most modern standard. At least it was like that for me when I moved from Germany. If 400 pounds is still too much for you and you really want to move to London, or you need to because let's say you applied for university and they took you, there are still ways to get even cheaper rooms. Those rooms though usually come with a contract of some sorts. For example, a lot of elderly people actually search for someone to move in with them to take care of grocery shoppings or just, general cleaning or work that comes over time within the house because they're too old, they can't do it themselves, and maybe they live in a big house that they bought for cheap in the 80s and now they have lots of these empty rooms that they just want to fill with life. So that's actually a really great way to save a lot of money. I don't know the average prices of these kind of rooms, but usually you get a very beautiful room with just so much more space at a way more cheaper rate. Let's say around 200 pounds. Some of them are even for free if you, let's say, work 2 hours a day on the house or do cleaning or whatever the person wants you to do. Deposit. So, deposit, you can be lucky with deposits. I think my first deposit was only 200 pounds, but usually they are at least a month's worth of rent. So if your rent is 600 quid, you will at least have to pay an extra 600 quid just as a deposit. Sometimes even more. Sometimes they want 2 or 3 months in advance because if they have made bad experiences with tenants in the past, they will, ask that money of you. So yeah, just know that, and you will also have to pay your first month upfront. So when you move in, you will have to pay your first month and your deposit. Let's say it's both 600, so you will end up with £1,200, which is a lot. So just keep that in mind if you're starting to save now to move to London, that you will have to have a bit of a buffer with the deposit. From my experience, when I wanted to move, or one of my friends had to move within London, they would just start looking for a new room 1.5 months in advance, maybe. Like, it's that quick. London has 9 zones and 33 districts, which is quite a lot. So whether you live in the north or the south, it will be quite a different experience, I would say. If you move more closely to the center, it will be obviously more expensive, but don't let a good room slide just because it's not that close to the center, because I think from anywhere you start in London that isn't the center, you will take maybe like 30 minutes to the center, or 40 minutes. Obviously check maybe on Google Maps, or City Mapper is a great app to find your way around in London, how far it is from like the main destinations where you have to go. Because if it's like 2 hours, there's like no point in taking it, right? And honestly, 2 hours can happen easily in London. How to find a room. Spare Room is a website I think basically everyone uses in London. It's good, and I hosted viewings there before as well when I had to get rid of a room. Yeah, but the real good thing is Facebook groups. So Facebook has these groups. There's one with like Northwest London house shares or flat shares. So just try your luck there. These people are usually really nice, and you will find like lots of listings. But at the same time, keep in mind, London is very competitive. So for like a really nice room, they will probably get like 50 messages already like in the first 2 weeks or something. So just be quick. Don't expect 6 months in advance or like a year in advance to find a room already. Like, sometimes it's literally you will get it like 1 month in advance. Because we are in a global pandemic, it's completely okay to do viewings via Skype or Zoom. My only advice is don't sign a long-term contract for a room that you've only seen via Skype or Zoom or like video call, whatever. Let's say you live in Sweden and your university starts like in October or something, and obviously you need a place to stay. You can't just move to London and not have a room or whatever to start your university course. I would advise you to find a short-term place first, like let's say 4 months or something, and while you're already in London you can go to real life actual viewings, because I've had some bad surprises at viewings that I wouldn't have noticed if I would just, you know, see the room with pictures and video format. Once I viewed this beautiful room. It was like gorgeous. Like one of the walls was a complete built-in wardrobe, so there was so much storage space. Also the wall opposite that wall was like so many windows, I think like 3 windows or something. It was absolutely gorgeous. But when I went there to view the room, the ceiling was so close to my head. I think it was like this close. So it was like way tinier than it appeared on the ad. And this stuff actually happens quite often in London. Another thing, I'm just saying this for like foreigners, because where I'm from, I wasn't used to this at all. But be aware that there are so many mice in London. They're literally everywhere. And I mean everywhere. I've been to pubs, and I don't mean like shady pubs. I mean like, you know, gorgeous pubs that serve dinner as well. And I think 2 times I've seen mice before in 2 different like pubs. And we've had mice as well in my house. And yeah, no matter how modern the house looks, they might have a mice problem. So if you, let's say, if you are allergic or you're really, really scared of these kind of things and it's not normal in your country, maybe ask them if they have a problem with mice or if they had one before, and if yes, like how are they handling this problem. If I would find the perfect room and they would say to me they had a mice problem, I would probably still take the room, but only if they say they knew how to deal with it. Because a lot of landladies and landlords, they just don't care, because for them, they're Londoners, they're used to that. Another really, really important tip, if you're not on a massive budget, stay away from agents. Really, really, really. And if you're unsure if someone is an actual person, like another housemate who just wants to rent out this room that just became free in his house, then just ask them if they are an agent, because they will be honest most of the time. But I've never experienced that before in another city. These agents can be so annoying, and you have to pay such a big share to them at the beginning if you sign a contract that they organized for you. And it's so unnecessary, because if you know where to search, again, Facebook groups and spare room, you will be way better off without any agents. A lot of rooms are furnished, so that might be a good or bad thing depending on what you're searching for. But usually if you want to bring your own wardrobe or chair or whatever, the landlady or the landlord will remove the items that you don't need, and so they're usually quite friendly about that. In general, I think for most people, especially if you're watching this, you know, and you are on a budget, it's like great to hear, because here in Hamburg that's really uncommon. If you move somewhere, it's completely empty. So a lot of student rooms, they don't even have a bed, there's just like mattress on the floor. Some don't even have a wardrobe, it's just like they live out of boxes. So you won't really see that in London, because most rooms come furnished. But if you're unsure, just ask the person who does the viewing, and yeah, they will tell you. And okay, storage. So let's say you found the perfect room, but it is small, but you know, the area is great, all your flatmates are great, it has a great kitchen and whatever, and you really want to go, but you have so much stuff and it won't fit. Obviously you will have to sort out some stuff anyway before you move to London, like you can't bring all that extra unnecessary luggage. But if you really can't get rid of the things, get a storage. That's my secret. I have a storage as well, and it's not that much. It's like, I think 50 quid extra, but you can get even smaller one. I have like, I think the second smallest size, and there's so many different companies, sorry. One last advice from me: if you go to a viewing and you already know in advance that you really, you know, like the room, and you've spoken to a few of the housemates or flatmates already and you really like them, you know that a lot of other people go to viewings for this room as well, and you want to stick out, bring something with you for them. Maybe something self-made, like self-made cookies or whatever, but you can also just get like a nice slice of cake or some croissants from the bakery next door. Like, it doesn't have to be too fancy, but you will definitely, you know, bring an extra smile to everyone's faces. And every time I brought something with me, they usually picked me in the end as well, because it's, I don't know, maybe it's like more common where I'm from, but it's, for them it was so surprising, and it's such a nice little gesture to, you know, show that, oh hey, like, I respect you guys for showing me this room, and I really, really want it. So it's always nice to have some cookies. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. If I helped you a bit, please leave a like, that would help me a lot, and subscribe to be notified when my other videos of this mini series come out. and share your experiences in the comment section down below. Maybe some of you already live in London and you've had like a lot of things that I said to you weren't even applicable. Let me know. Let me know if I forgot something important, but also just let me know why you want to move to London or thinking about moving to London. It is really life-changing. Like, it's such a big, stressful city, but like once you kind of know how to move within the city, you grow to love it, because it is really beautiful. Maybe not forever, but for now. And yeah, thank you so much for watching my video. Why do I live in London?